So, a couple projects we got going here. Our New Holland 68 baler, the pickup, one of the cam followers had turned itself backwards. Over time, the roller bearing here wore down, and then these shims were so bad that they had worn all the way through on one side. So I rebuilt that, put new guide bars in, put new bushings in, new bearings in here, and these I made so they're greasable, because I think that was one of the issues before, is they were wearing out because they were dry all the time. I don't know if they were oil light bushings or what they were, but they were completely worn on one side. So rebuilt that. It's got all new teeth. Put new, you can't see it, inside here I put new bronze oil light bushings in because you can't grease that. What else? Built, hard to see it in here. Rebuilt the plunger slides out of hickory. They were originally maple. I was going to do them out of oak, but hickory is just a little bit harder, so we're going to try that. I got another set that I made with it, so if these fail before they should, I'll put the set of oak ones on. Trued everything up with that, adjusted the knife in there, hard to see it, that's right over here. Adjusted that so it's within spec. Pickup head, still got to paint. The rest of it got painted New Holland red. Gonna paint the pickup New Holland yellow. Rims, other side rim I gotta paint, and then it's gonna get new decals on it. Otter assemblies, I got new bill hooks coming for both sides. It's really good except for those. It seems like the bill hooks are slightly worn. I think one of them is bent, so I'm going to put new ones on that. It tied fine before, but I don't want to have any issues this year, so those are going to get replaced. Got a new tire coming for this side. These tires are actually flip-flopped. The one on that side is going to get put over on this side, and that one's going to get eliminated, and a smaller one's going to get put on that side because I believe these are slightly out of level compared to the baler itself. New chains in the gearbox, new chain in here. The rest of these chains all seem to be pretty good. There's a slight leak in the gearbox itself, but I think I'm going to do, rather than put new seals in it, just because I don't really have the desire to put new seals in this, I'm going to use cornhead grease in the gearbox, and that should work fine. I've used that in a rake, and I have no issues with the gearbox in that, with cornhead grease in it, so we're going to do that instead of putting seals in it. Unless it starts leaking really badly with the cornhead grease, we'll put that there for now. We'll see what happens with it. Unloading. Got painted also. Another project we got going, our New Holland 36 green chopper. The cutter head shaft, I'm going to call it. It has been wearing over time and flattening out these splines. And some of the bearings were getting pretty bad in it. They were non-greasable, so they were getting replaced anyways. So pulled this out, and there's a little bit more damage in there than I thought. So this is wore down here, and we'll see if I can find it. The hub here. This wore down in here also. So these splines are completely smooth. So what I'm gonna do, and then this wore down as well, I believe. I don't know if there's a sleeve in here that is gone, or if there never was one in there, or what the deal is, but this likes to rock in this. So this goes in there. It's not going all the way, but to kind of give you an idea. So this, if it's in all the way, rock it around. So, and that's partially because these splines are wore down and because it's wore down in here. The other part is, right here, this is dead space. As far as I can tell from New Holland manuals and everything, that's dead space there. So, what I'm going to get is, or rather I'm going to make one, I'm going to turn it on the lathe, put a shim in here. So, I'd call it bushing if you want. It's going to take up the space from this point, and then the slight gap that's in here. This was wore down, so I turned this down on the lathe slightly. I think I got to turn it just a hair more because it's getting right there in the bearing. The bearing sits on here. Get a bearing on here, if I remember right. No, bearing here, and a bearing here. And then this is where the PTO clutch, or gearbox clutch rather, hooks to on there, and then the gearbox sits over here, and then this turns. So that's going to get built up here. I'm going to weld this, so it's not going to have splines on it anymore. I'm going to weld it, turn it down on the lathe, and then this in here, I mic'd it. It's just a hair out of round, so I might take the die grinder inside that. But this is the main thing. This has got to get built up, and then I'm going to put it on the lathe, turn it down. That's one of the other projects we're working on. We have a couple hay racks we're building, one for myself, a couple for a few other people. Those are pretty straightforward, so those are, I don't know if I'll even film those. We can take a look at one if we want quick. So there it is. So on the crossbars for there, I'm going to use oak 4x4s. And then on the main beams going front and back, there's two of them. You usually see 6x6s. What I'm going to do on these is use steel C-channel. I had this left over from a job we were doing at work. So these usually rust out when you, or rather they rot when you use 6x6s. So the idea with these is these aren't going to rot. It should be the same amount of stress on them. If anything, they're probably a hair lighter and just as strong. So this is one of them we got going. There's a green chopper. There's another project we got. This is smaller haybine. Just got to replace 2 belts on that, and the hydraulic hoses are pretty bad, so those are going to get replaced too. So that's the projects we got going right now.